everybody, and welcome to Opera North's wonderful Valentine celebration, an afternoon of romance, great songs, great music, great performances, and we're so thrilled that you're with us. I hope wherever you are, be it the snowy Northeast or the palm trees of Florida, that you are with somebody warm and that someone you love, or at least you're thinking about somebody you love and somebody who is warm. So today we're so pleased that we're going to have some of our alumni performing with us, as well as someone new who's going to be joining with us the first time this summer at Opera North. But first, please turn it over to our great artistic director, the conscience of our company, Louis Burkott. Louis?
Thanks, Evans. Coming to you live from Hanover, New Hampshire, after a very long day of teaching Dartmouth students online. It is gratifying that so many wonderful Opera North artists are excited to share Valentine's greetings to our patrons and friends. Soprano Emily Mish and bass baritone Will Meinert, who met at Opera North during our production of Scalia Ginsberg in 2018, have pursued national and international operatic engagements and continue to collaborate on projects together, such as a virtual production of Giancarlo Menotti's rare foray into comedy, The Telephone. Tenor Charlie Carlotta has been a big part of Opera North's last 2 seasons, understudying Frederick in Pirates of Penzance and singing his first Tamino and Magic Flute with us last season in a performance that showed great polish and effortless Mozart style. Caitlin McKechnie has been one of the most iconic and unusual operatic performers to grace the stage, bringing her versatile mezzo to comic roles like Ruth in Pirates of Penzance, her signature role Carmen, and bringing opera and opera country music mashups to audiences through her wildly popular Opera Cowgirls. I'm particularly excited to hear celebrated Broadway baritones George Dvorsky, who delighted audience here as Fred Petruchio in our production of Kiss Me Kate. Over the years, the resident artists have heard me use the phrase, "sing the truth in the music." This is an artist that does just that every time he sings. We look forward to seeing our patrons and friends gather together this summer at beautiful Blow Me Down Farm, which will play host to all 3 of our offerings: a return engagement of our unique Circus Operas mashup directed by Mark Lonergan, this time with much of the music featuring a Latin theme, followed by a new piece conceived by yours truly that brings together excerpts of Baroque operas featuring strong and provocative females called Extraordinary Women. And finally, our resident artist will perform a new staging by acclaimed director Helena Binder of Puccini's perennial favorite, La Bohème, sung in English. Speaking of La Bohème, you will get to hear today a sneak preview of one of the divas who will grace our stage as Musetta, soprano Ariana Rodriguez. Ariana will also be our guest for another Always on Sunday on February 28th. She and I will then do a public musical coaching on the role of Musetta. Thanks in advance for your support of Opera North. And now, back to you, Evans.
Thank you, Louis. Well, last summer, many of you experienced Opera North at Blow Me Down Farm. In the spite of the pandemic, we made music, we brought people together, which we were so proud. And one of those persons, one of our great artists, we are so thrilled to have with us again. He was the silver-tongued tenor of Magic Flute, our Tamino. You saw him even before that, the year before, in, of course, our production of Pirates of Penzance. And that's the delightfully warm and charming Charlie Carlotta.
Blossoms on the vine. Only you could tell it all, beloved. From your window give me greeting. Hear my eternal vow. Soft in the trees sighs the echo of my longing, while all around you my dreams of rapture throng. My soul, my joy, my hope, my fear, your heart must tell you that I am near. Lean from above while I pour out my love, for you know that my life you are loved. Oh, hear my serenade. Oh, love me or I die. Overhead the moon is beaming, white as blossoms on the bough. Nothing is heard but the song of a bird, filling all the air with dreaming. Could my heart but still its beating, only you can tell it all, beloved. From your window give me greeting. I swear my eternal Una furtiva lagrima negli occhi suoi spuntò. Quelle vestose giovani invidiar sembrò. Che più cercando io vo, che più cercando io vo, mamma, sì, mamma, lo vedo, lo vedo. Un solo istante palpiti del suo bel cor sentir,
Oh, Charlie Collada, I tell you what, that boy could charm the birds out of the trees, which he actually did last summer if you saw our wonderful production of The Magic Flute. Well, another great artist we have is Caitlin McKechnie. She is a wonderful actress, obviously a great singer, and she held the audience in the palm of her hand when we did Pirates of Penzance in our circus tent. And she's got a variety of things to sing. You know, she actually founded Opera Cowgirls, a mashup of country, western singing, and opera arias. Imagine that! Well, anyway, we are so happy that Caitlin is with us today. Caitlin McKechnie.
Happy Valentine's Day, Opera North. This is my 2-month-old Mikey, and he wanted to introduce this Patsy Cline number with me because Walking After Midnight has a whole new meaning when you have a 2-month-old. We hope that you enjoy this as much as we do. I go out walking after midnight, in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk for miles along the highway, well that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I stop to see the weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying out for me. And as the sky turns gloomy, the night blooms whisper to me, I'm as lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the starlight, just hoping you may be somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. I stop to see the weeping willow crying on his pillow. Maybe he's crying out for me. And as the sky turns gloomy, the night blooms whisper to me, I'm as lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the starlight, just hoping you may be somewhere walking after midnight, searching for me. The first show that I ever did with Opera North was Kurt Weill's Street Scene, where I actually got to sing a duet with the wonderful Emily Mish. So I thought that it would be really great to sing another piece by him. This is That's Him from Touch of Venus. You can shuffle him with millions, soldiers and civilians, I'd pick him out. In the darkest caves and hallways, I would know him always, beyond a doubt. Identification comes easily to me, because that's he. You know the way you feel when there is autumn in the air. That's him, that's him. The way you feel when Antoine has finished with your hair. That's him, that's him. The way you feel when you smell bread baking. The way you feel when suddenly a tooth stops aching. Wonderful world, wonderful you. That's him, that's him. He is as simple as a swim in summer. Not arty, not actory. He's like a plumber when you need a plumber.
is satisfactory. You know the way you feel when you want to knock on wood. The way you feel when your heart is gone for good. Wonderful world, wonderful you. That's it.
One of the things that we are very excited about at Opera North are the number of rising artists who come and join us every summer in singing all sorts of wonderful roles and working with us. Over the years, Opera North is known for having some of the name of names who have been with us, who've worked with us, and who are part of our company, which is something that we're terribly proud of. You know, Louis Burkott auditions between 600 and 700 people every year for 15 slots to be part of our resident company. And that doesn't even count some of our other principal stars who come through. So this summer we are very proud that we have a young artist, Ariana Rodriguez, who will be doing Musetta in Bohème for us in this exciting production that I know you're going to want to see, an intimate production out at Blow Me Down Farm. So for your introduction, we are proud to say, hello, Ariana.
Hello, my name is Ariana Rodriguez, and I will be one of the resident artists this summer at Opera North. I'll be singing Musetta, so hi, nice to meet you. I just want to wish all of you a wonderful Valentine's Day, whether you're spending it with loved ones, or with a significant other, or if you're just enjoying a lot of very delicious discount chocolate this year. Anyway, I hope you stay safe and enjoy this song.
Two ladies, a song, a composer, and a theater. In 1926, Gertrude Lawrence, who had been the muse of Noel Coward, became the first British actress to star in an American musical. The musical was Okay by George and Ira Gershwin. And she introduced a song, Someone to Watch Over Me. That became a standard for decades. Everyone from she down to Frank Sinatra, etc., have, of course, recorded it. Well, now, it's interesting that Gertrude Lawrence also got to know a young lady named Kitty Carlisle Hart. Well, she wasn't Hart at the time, she was just Kitty Carlisle. Now, Kitty was a person who, as she described to me once, she said, darling, we lost all our money in the Depression and my mother and I were in France. And my mother looked at me and she said, well, you're not the prettiest girl, you're not the best actress, and you're not the best singer, but the overall package is pretty good. So we're going to go to Hollywood. And so she did. And within a couple of years, Kitty Carlisle was starring in the movies with the Marx Brothers in A Night at the Opera. And actually, for all of our opera fans out there, she did the American premiere of Britain's The Rape of Lucretia, which a lot of people don't realize that Kitty had quite this stunning career long before she became the doyenne of the arts that many of us knew her later on. Within a few years, Kitty marries Moss Hart. Moss Hart, the great director of course, later on, My Fair Lady, Camelot, and of course collaborated with George S. Kaufman on a number of great American plays. Well, the two of them led off an amazing life together of Broadway, of theater, of writing, truly everything that one thinks of in terms of the New York social set of the time. Moss Hart came up with a play because he was going through psychoanalysis at the time, and he, working with Kurt Weill and Ira Gershwin, came up with a show called Lady in the Dark. And this is where Gertrude Lawrence comes in yet again. Because Gertrude Lawrence became the star of Lady in the Dark, and at this time she was also a mistress of a great American theater, which she got introduced to in 1939, the Cape Playhouse. She married Richard Aldrich. She came in late at night to do what was a tryout of a show for Broadway, and for many years until her death, while doing The King and I on Broadway, this was her summer home. Now, how does this all tie together with what I'm about to play? Well, the reality is, Kitty and I were best buddies, and I wrote a show for her where she reminisced about many of her past experiences with composers, with great American writers and so forth. And I ran the Cape Playhouse for 15 years, and where we had Miss Lawrence was, we think, haunting the theater, because we knew if we did not fill her dressing room with hydrangeas every night, things would happen. And oftentimes they did, but that's another time. Kitty dated George Gershwin. As a matter of fact, she told the story how George would have a little waltz. This is how he would seduce women. He invite somebody up and say, oh, I've just been inspired to write this little waltz for you. And it often worked, as she said, but not on her, because he did ask her to marry him, and she turned him down. But I will say that if you ever went to Kitty's apartment, amongst the Chagalls and other lovely paintings, there were paintings dedicated to her from George Gershwin, along with Irving Berlin and Cole Porter. Well, Gertrude Lawrence, of course, was the star of Lady in the Dark. She introduced someone to watch over me, and so it's a pleasure to do a little homage to these wonderful ladies, this great composer, and of course, a very cool theater, George Gershwin. during this pandemic, everybody has looked to think outside of the box. How do we keep live performance going even when perhaps we're quarantined and we are in spaces? Well, our next artists have done an amazing job of creating wonderful productions in their own home with green screen, with all sorts of techniques, and they're doing the same right now in a new production. We were so thrilled to be able to share their production of Menotti's The Telephone, which was hilarious and wonderful and updated in such a way, and they did it right in their apartment. So it's our pleasure to welcome two people. You saw her as Ruth Bader Ginsburg when we did the Scalia Ginsburg, the great opera about Scalia and Ginsburg, where she played Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Will Meinert played God. Now, this is Valentine's Day, so I don't mind telling you they actually met during our production, and guess what? They became a couple. So we are so thrilled to have the dazzling and delicious Emily Mish with us, and Will Meinert, the voice of God.
La mi dirai di sì, Ferdinand è lontano, partiam ben mio da qui.
Vorrei e non vorrei, mi tremo un poco il cor, felice ma può burlarmi ancor,
Vieni mio bel diletto,
mi fa pietà, masetto,
io cancerò tua sorte.
presto non son più forte, non son più forte, non son più forte.
Vieni, la ci darem la mano.
Vorrei e non vorrei,
La mi dirai di sì,
mi tremo un poco il cor.
partiam ben mio da qui.
Ma può burlarmi ancor,
Vieni mio bel diletto, io cancerò tua sorte.
non son più forte, non son più forte, non son più forte.
Andiam, andiam mio bene, a ristorare bene un innocente Great love, I know thee now, eldest of the gods art thou. Heaven and earth by thee were made, heaven and earth by thee were made. Human nature is thy creature, human nature is thy creature. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere thou art obeyed. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere thou art obeyed. Everywhere thou art obeyed.
One of my great discoveries a number of years ago was a Cuban composer, Ernesto Lecuona. He, a brilliant pianist, a brilliant composer of zarzuela, of songs, of instrumental works. And in many ways, he was known as the Gershwin of Cuba. And as a matter of fact, they knew of each other. And so it's a great pleasure to always program some of his music, because a lot of people do not necessarily know him, although they might know some of his most famous works like Malagueña, or a song that he wrote for a Hollywood movie that actually got an Oscar nomination. On Siempre Mi Corazón, Always in My Heart. And it won the hearts of many, but it lost the Oscar to another song that I guess if you're going to lose, you might as well be proud of that. It lost to White Christmas. But it's an amazing song, it's an amazing list of compositions. So I want to do a couple of these pieces for you. His music is always so romantic. And the first is Noche Azul. Now, there were actually lyrics to it, but I'm not going to sing, and you were spared that. But it says, and I think the music conveys it so well, as I look up in the night, I see the stars. And the stars look down on me, and I'm thinking of you. But at the same time, I know those stars can burn. And just like you, I must be very careful. So that's a wonderful, wonderful piece, Noche Azul, and then I'm going to follow it up immediately with an incredible Spanish waltz called Aragon, Ernesto Lecuona. musical theater stars, joined us a few years ago when we did our production of Kiss Me, Kate. George Dvorsky has been on Broadway at least 6 or 7 productions, and most recently, as a matter of fact, even in this pandemic, filmed one of his signature roles, Pete and Keeley, at the Paper Mill Playhouse, which you will want to see. It's going to be streamed this coming springtime, and you don't want to miss it. It is amazing, hilarious, charming, and all those things. He and Sally Mays together. It's a great, great show. He is truly one of the leading baritone singers, a great actor, one of the wonderful voices, and as Louis Burkott said, a gentleman who brings authenticity and truth to everything he does. And I'm so happy he's right here with us to sing a couple of great romantic tunes. Truly a man of the theater, and I might add, a great leader on a dance floor. I'll tell you that story privately sometimes. George Dvorsky. Hey, George.
Hi, Evans Haile. I call him Master Maestro.
You're silver-tongued devil. But listen, very happy Valentine's Day, area general kind of season of love, as it were. Tell me what you've been up to.
COVID Valentine's Day.
A COVID Valentine's Day. So tell us about what you've been up to and how you've. We last saw George at Opera North. It's starring in our production of Kiss Me, Kate, a wonderful production with the Walton Brothers and all sorts of people, directed by Evan Pappas. And so tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
Most recently,
yes.
As of last week, we filmed Pete and Keeley, which is the off-Broadway show that I did in 2000. Yes, 20 years ago. And that's why my hair is now dark as it was for Petruchio, because I had to go back to look like I was in 1968. And we never did an archival. We never did a Lincoln Center film of the off-Broadway production. So we did it at Paper Mill, and under their COVID bubble.
Yes.
So Sally Mays and I had to move out there and stay in the house. I had the upstairs apartment. She was downstairs. We had to be tested every 3 days. I mean, this is quite a different world we are performing in. But it was fun to revisit that piece and do it, because we did it in 2000 off Broadway, then For You on the Cape.
That's right.
In 2006, and now we did it again, and it went really well. But you're 20 years older.
Hey, and you still wore the Bob Mackie costumes.
Yes, I did. I starved myself, and before they dyed my hair.
There might be some people who don't know what Pete and Keeley is, so tell people what.
Pete and Keeley is a fictional couple who were bigger than Steve and Edie, bigger than Frank and Judy, bigger than Dean and Jerry. We were the couple in the 1960s. We had a cantankerous relationship. Is that the correct word?
Yes.
Cantankerous. We divorced, tried our own solo careers, did not work. So the show is we are reunited for a live TV special sponsored by Swell Shampoo. Oddly enough, it's almost like Kiss Me, Kate in the way that you see us on stage and off. When we cut to a commercial, you see us arguing about our costumes, and I say that hers doesn't fit like it should. So it is kind of ironic that it's Kiss Me, Kate in a funnier a send up of the 1960s
television genre.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's fantastic. So you're going to sing a couple of songs for us today to put everybody warm the cockles of their heart.
Yes, some little love ditties
That's wonderful.
for the day of Valentine's.
Exactly. For all the Opera North fans who love you.
I love Opera North. That was a great summer.
Thank you.
A wonderful
We were
time.
so thrilled to have you. We were so thrilled to have you, and hope to get you back out again.
I would love that.
So everybody, George Dvorsky.
Try to remember the kind of September when life was slow and oh so mellow. Try to remember the kind of September when grass was green and grain was yellow. Try to remember the kind of September when you were tender and callow fellow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow. Try to remember
that no one wept except a willow. Tried to remember when life was so tender that dreams were kept beside your pillow. Tried to remember when life was so tender and love was an ember about to blow. Try to remember, and if you remember, then follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember, although you know the snow will follow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember without a hurt. The heart is hollow. Deep in December, it's nice to remember the fire of September that made us mellow. Deep in December, our hearts will remember and follow, 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 follow. You know, I had such a great time doing Kiss Me Kate at Opera North. I've actually done a lot of shows in the Northeast between Beverly, Massachusetts and down on Cape Cod. In fact, when I performed for Evans down there, this is one reason why I love the Northeast so much. Every year I drive out to Cape Cod in the last part of June. Leave the city by 10 and you're there in the late afternoon. On the way there's a village called Marion that you pass through. The first time I approached it, I'll always remember the sign that came into view. It said, "Entering Marion." And I thought, what a fun little sign. And the feeling of entering Marion had a kick that was hard to define. A rapturous rush, a physical flush, chills up and down my spine. For the few minutes I was in Marion, all Massachusetts was mine. So it became like an annual thing. It was like starting off each vacation with a bang. Then one year, who knows why, I decided to try a new route. So I got out my map and I traced one I thought was a butte. After driving all morning, I came to the top of a hill, where a sign stood before me that promised a new kind of thrill. It said, "Entering Beverly," which was lovely and not overbuilt. And the feeling of entering Beverly far outweighed any feelings of guilt. I could say I'm contrite, but it wouldn't be right, for the truth is that later that day I found myself entering Sharon. It was there, so was I, we enjoyed it. Hey, what can I say? By the next year I tried any route just for novelty's sake. I was cursed with a thirst that no single township could slake. Oh, at the wheel I looked calm, but inside I was running amok, when a sign in the road dead ahead sent me straight into shock. Entering Lawrence. My God, I was out of control, and I no sooner finished with Lawrence than boom, I was entering Lowell. So I backtracked and re-entered Lawrence, and Quincy and Norton as well. Around midnight I pulled into Athol and flopped in a flea bag motel. I slept fitfully in my clothing and awoke in a pool of sweat and self-loathing. Lying there feeling lower than carrion, a name came ringing clear as a clarion. I jumped in my car, and before very far I was entering Marion. How totally, wonderfully great, how grand to be entering Marion after tramping all over the state. Every sleaze bucket burb, every tryst by the curb had only just helped me to find I'm happiest entering Marion. I guess I'm the Marion kind. Oh yes, I'm the Marion kind.
We certainly hope you've had a great time this afternoon, and wherever you are, I hope you're getting ready for a glass of wine or dinner, or being with someone who you love or care about, someone who is warm in your heart, and that you will be thinking about love, romance, and of course, Opera North. We're so excited that this summer we're bringing back a season that includes our circus collaboration with Mark Lonergan and members of the Big Apple Circus and our singers and our orchestra under the big top at Bloomingdown Farm. An intimate, brand new production of La Boheme, where you will be part of the action, directed by Helena Binder. And of course, great concerts, an evening of extraordinary women, Baroque heroines, which will be done outside at the tent, and of course a Broadway evening. Something for everybody, a musical cruise on Lake Sunapee, and again, mostly thinking of you and music and the stars and everything that goes along with it. So join me, if you will, singing your heart away as we wish you all a very happy Valentine's Day.